Is that okay? I'd like to introduce a lady who represents or who is part of the Interparliamentary Union. She's currently the Senator of the Republic of the Philippines and President of the Coordinating Committee of Women Parliamentarians of the Interparliamentary Union. Senator Cayetano is the youngest elected female senator in the history of the Republic. She's the mother of two, a lawyer, successful entrepreneur, and triathlete. Prior to entering politics, she had been actively involved in various advocacies on health, children's rights, and women empowerment. She ran for the Senate in 2004 to continue the legacy of her father, the late Senator Compañero Rene Cayetano. She won and even bagged the top 6th slot, which was quite a feat for a political neophyte. Her legislative achievements include the passage of the Oil Spill Liability Act, the Biofuels Act of 2007, the Cebu Central Protected Landscape Act of 2007, the Mimbilisan Protected Landscape Act of 2007, the Hospital Detention Law, and the National Anti-Rabies Act. Outside the halls of Congress, Senator Cayetano has been aggressively promoting various advocacies, which include the Bike for Hope, Pinay in Action, and the annual 12-hour multi-sport event in memory of Gabriel, named after her late son, which supports differently abled children. Senator Cayetano stands firmly by her principles, whether in the Senate floor, defending a proposed measure out in the communities, promoting her many advocacies, or when leading sports activities for a cause. The daughter of the late Compañero has come into her own and has made her mark in the Philippine Senate. At this point, I'd like to call on Senator Cayetano to also receive the copy of the Manila Declaration from the President of CAPWEP before she delivers her closing address. Dr. Kim, may we call on Senator Cayetano and Secretary Reyes to receive their copies of the Manila Declaration.
On behalf of the CAPIP and our partners, and the participants to the Third Global Congress of Women in Politics, we are so happy to present to you the Manila Declaration on Gender in Climate Change and Disaster Risk Reduction. We hope that through Senator Cayetano, the President of IPU Women's Coordinating Committee, the various legislative bodies will help us in implementing our recommendations. We also hope that through Secretary Angelo Reyes, Department of Energy in the Republic of Philippines, the other governments, through their ministries of environment and energy, will consider our recommendations embodied in the Manila Declaration.
So may we now call on Senator Cayetano to deliver her address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to inform you that I will present this in the Senate. I will include this in the as chairman of the Committee on Environment. I will be sure that this is put on record, either through a privileged speech or through one of the hearings. I am one with you in wanting to ensure that the work of the women do not go unnoticed. And when women work, we always see very valuable output, so this should not go to waste. Anyway, I'm not going to give a long speech. I'm happy to join you today. I'm told that I should speak on the role of women in Parliament, and so I will not be going through all the details of climate change, which I know you have had 3 days of learning more about. So I will gloss over that very quickly, and I have a presentation, so let's just go through that quickly. That is actually, I just came back from Geneva, where the Inter-Parliamentary Union conference is held every October, and I'm the president of the coordinating committee of the women parliamentarians, and that is the group of women. The declaration we're holding is actually a campaign on no to violence against women, but we cover a lot of aspects at different times, and this was our campaign last October. Anyway, so clearly we all know that climate change is with us, and it's an urgent issue. In fact, we have covered this topic in the IPU, I think 2 years ago, and then again, because of the urgency, we covered it again in Geneva this last week. We know that climate change has many disastrous effects on the environment, on animals and plants, on living conditions, on disease, and in just every aspect of our life. We also know that climate change affects everyone, but what a lot of people don't realize is that women and children are actually the most affected. Why? It is because of the role of women, because they are at the forefront of in agricultural communities. They're at the forefront when there are disasters in their homelands, that women bear the brunt of these difficulties. We know for a fact that mothers have difficulties feeding their children, and now with the onset of climate change, there is even more danger that these women are exposed to. I don't know if you had statistics given to you earlier, but let me just briefly tell you that we have reports that say women and young girls in certain regions who have the task of fetching water for their daily need now have to walk 2 to 3 kilometers more just to get that water, and sometimes they have to line up overnight. And even here in the Philippines, we have areas that go through this. In my hometown, we still have water problems. Because of this, women are exposed to the dangers of society, like they're exposed to rape, they're exposed to the environment, and they're even deprived, young girls are deprived of their chance to go to school because they now have to tend to these day-to-day changes that are brought about by climate change. So the impact is very severe on young girls and women. Clearly, there is no doubt that women are the most affected, even in the management of households. Women's roles will even increase because of this. And I think these are things that were covered because the studies that I have would have been things that would have been reported to you. So the question now is, how can the participation of women be included in climate change initiatives? Well, very briefly, and this is an output of the IPU discussion by the women parliamentarians over the years. We need more women in academia. We need more women in bureaucracy. We need more women in local government units. And we need more women in national parliaments. Why? Well, clearly in the academia, when we look at the effect of climate change on families, on households, we need women's perspective to deal with these changes. And that is why we need to train our young girls. We need to send our girls to schools to specialize in areas that are predominantly male-dominated, areas of science, areas of engineering, areas of environmental studies, so that they bring in the gender perspective. The same way with women in bureaucracy. In low-level government offices, we need a gender perspective there.